Y'all know normally I'm really, really jovial around this time. First of all, greetings and salutations. Thank you for joining me. This is not going to be my normal thing. I wasn't going to go live, but someone sent this to me, and I was like, "Oh no, got to tackle this tonight. Get this off my chest." Thank you for joining me. So it's not often I'm left speechless. Really, it's not often at all. But today I was. I saw something, and I know it's kind of old, but I never even heard of this guy until today. And they sent this to me, and my cousin and I, we did a live a long time ago where we talked about R. Kelly and everything that went on. And this today was just something I've never seen before. I mean, I've never seen before. So let's get going. So this guy, I don't even know his name, Glendon Cameron, and he was leaving a message, something talking about that R. Kelly wasn't this and he wasn't a predator. And I looked him up, and this guy right here, his name is Glendon Cameron. I'm sure some of you heard of him. He's a financial guru. He's a guy that does, financial advice and tells you how to build your network and everything else. But he also has 130, I guess, thousand subscribers on YouTube. So he has a following. But he took to YouTube or wherever from his car and decided that he would go live and talk about an issue that happened with R. Kelly. Those of us who know R. Kelly has been found guilty of all those I think it was in New York. And he took to YouTube or wherever and decided to say that R. Kelly basically defending him. But his way of defending him was kind of in a way that I've never thought anyone would ever go. It was actually quite disturbing. When I saw it, I immediately got upset because even though I don't have any daughters, I have a lot of cousins. I have a sister. I have a niece. I can't imagine it's people like this that's actually out and think this way. So in our fashion, we're going to take what he says. We're going to break it down. We're going to do our reaction to it. So D Crew, are you guys ready? Let me know if you're ready. Let me see. People are saying stuff. What up, Antoine? What up? So without further ado, I'm just going to go through this thing and I'm going to break it down. It's kind of disturbing though. It really, really is. Let me make myself small. Pause. All right, let's get going. You move out the way. All right, let's go.
What's going on, gentlemen? Tonight is a moment for self reflection. Matter of fact, let's shed a little light on this subject. I could have been a predator, and I am a little sympathetic to R. Kelly. I know that sounds really, really crazy, but hear me out. I guess I need to start with what I've done. When I was doing my Craigslist protocols hot and heavy, I would get a ton, I mean, a ton of high school girls answering my ads. And typically, I ignored them because even though I have a similar appetite to R. Kelly, I like young women, but I don't like children. But this is how a child tricked me. Typically, they would be young. There would be lots of signs that this girl was very, very young. And I would just ignore them. Then this one girl, she answered the ad. We started to talk, and she was an exceptionally mature 17-year-old. Let me say this again. This chick was 17.
Okay, let's start there. First of all, 17, he said respectably mature, exceptionally mature 17-year-olds. I know some 17-year-olds. I know a lot of 17-year-olds. when you say mature, what do you mean? Because they cannot have experienced a lot at 17, especially if they're living at home with their moms and their dads. So when he says 17, that's the first red flag. Respectable 17. Now, looking at this guy, he looks every bit of 40, 47, maybe in his 50s. And he's carrying on talking about he has the same appetites of as R. Kelly. Well, if you're saying you have the same appetites of R. Kelly, wouldn't that mean with young girls? I mean, stop me if I'm wrong. But wouldn't that be the same thing? And he said, well, I don't like young girls. Then what are you talking about? Because we all know R. Kelly, unless you're talking about holding people hostage or whatever. Hey, Tony. I mean, so at what point are you talking about you and R. Kelly have the same thing? Which was weird. And when I saw that, that was the first red flag. Red flag right off the gate. If somebody says, well, I like young women. I mean, young girls, but what is the difference when you saying you have the same appetites? We all know R. Kelly likes 16, 15, 17. He liked very young women. We're going to get to that. So he's 50 or 52. Can't remember. Sharice, thank you. I think my sister sent me this. Thank you, Sharice. He's in his 50. He looks like he's in his 50. He looked like Fat Albert's dad. But anyway.
Her conversation was different. She actually was a hairdresser, and she answered my ad, and I fucked her. And oh my God, she had these amazingly firm double D titties.
Now, man, he's talking about a 17-year-old. He's talking about a 17-year-old. He's literally on YouTube or Facebook or whatever this is speaking this way about a 17-year-old. Is that not crazy to you?
That should have been my clue, because when she would lay on her back, they would stand up, and they were not fake titties. That should have been my clue. But, I was caught up in the delicious pussy, and she did everything I wanted her to do. Then one of the things that I would do is I would do social media search on all my chicks just out of curiosity. So I'm like doing my social media search, and I find her Facebook page, and I see her with her high school friends.
Stop.
And I'm like,
so you saw her with her high school friends. That should tell you she's too young for you. You are in your 50s, or at the time, it might have been your 40s or whatever, because you said 5 years. So if he's 52, he's 48. You're a 48-year-old man, and if she's with her high school friends, then she's too young for you. And you say she was a hairdresser. At what salon? What salon could she be a hairdresser? Oh, you talking about high school? You know how the girls do in high school. Come over to my house, my mom's house, and I do your hair? Is that what we're talking about now? This is unbelievable. And I'm doing this because this is a person that's amongst us. And y'all wouldn't believe how many men there are around that are this way. They are this way. They think this way. They have no problems going at girls this young. None. Guard your kids, guard your wives. They out here.
oh, shit. So I call her up, and I ask her, because, she told me she was 21. That's what she told me. And I was like, serious question. And at this time, I had fucked this chick 10, 15 times. And you cannot unfuck a chick. You can't unfuck her.
Now, I'm not going to keep stopping because it's a lot here. But I want to know. I'm in my 40s. There is absolutely nothing a 21-year-old woman can do for me. Because with me, having a short conversation with you, I would know you somebody I don't want to deal with. Because you're just too young for me. That is 20 exactly, Susan. Even at 21, that's still pretty bad. Even at 21, that's still pretty bad because you don't have a connection. You're dang near 50. She's young enough to be your grandchild. Now, I understand some old men do go to the strip clubs. I don't go to strip clubs. Never was a fan. All my friends would tell you when they were enjoying it, I was in the back eating wings. I didn't go to strip club. There's not a stripper in the world that ever got $1 from me. They tried. Would you like a dance? No, I'm sitting there like, no, I don't want a dance from you, sweetheart. What? You sure? You sure? I'm sitting up here like, I just told you I don't want to dance from you. But at 21, what could she do for you if you had conversations? So either I don't think she's that mature at 17. You said you thought she was 21. She's not that mature. Because at 40, you are in a totally different stratosphere. Your mind is different. It's almost like when I hit 40, my mind was blam, and everything I could see clearly. That's not to say I'm perfect. I'm just saying I can see things more clearly at 40, even in my late 30s. So at a 17-year-old, we could not connect in a way that would even make me, because I would be like, you sure you 21? But even at 21, we just too far. But that's a man that's thinking with his penis. So if you're thinking with your penis, of course, you're going to end up there. And here's my thing. If she saw your ad and she knew she was that age, then you already know something is wrong. It should have been a red flag. And you already know at that point, you know. If she's going looking in ads for penis, then you know. That is crazy. That I don't understand that whole logic. There is nothing even a 21-year-old woman could do for me outside of sexual. But we're gonna keep going. Let's go. This is crazy.
And I was like, I need you to tell me something. How old are you? And then she got very silent and she said, I'll be 18 in 4 months. Then she also said the age of consent in Georgia is 16, so you're good. And I'm like, so she comes over and we have this conversation because she was everything that I liked. I like women who 5'3", she was 5'2". She had huge titties, little waist, fat ass, pretty toes. She was my
Now, man, he's talking about a 17-year-old girl who just told him the legal age of consent in Georgia is 16. And it really is. It is 16. So those people who said he should be in jail, you are actually wrong. There's nothing they can do. She is sick. Even if she was 16, it's disgusting to us, but obviously in Georgia, it is not. You know, they'll beat you up and say, oh, you should be ashamed of yourself. These people like that don't care about morals. You can't beat them with a moral stick. He's a predator. He's a predator. And that 17-year-old, 17, this is the way he's talking about somebody's daughter. But listen, it gets better.
the type, even though she was extremely young. And you know what I kept doing? I kept fucking her.
Unbelievable.
I kept fucking her because I was like, at this point, I fucked her 15 times. And it was just like, the crime was done. So I just kept fucking her from she was 17 to 22. And
I guess at 22,
R.
she was
Kelly
too old for you.
And I are similar, but we're very different because I have safeguards. I know when I'm getting out of control. And I kind of ran analysis on this. And she was older. Her parents weren't breathing down her neck. And this is how a lot of young girls end up with older dudes. Their parents are not heavily involved in their lives, where they have the time and the freedom to get away with this stuff. And her parents didn't check her. She'd go out, she'd spend the night out. Her parents were like, she came home alive, cool. Her parents were not on her. So I didn't have to worry about catching a charge from the parents. And once again, we just kept doing our thing.
Stop. Okay. He said he didn't have to worry about catching a charge from her parents, right? That's what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. Right there. That's how predators are. You can say, I'm not a predator. You can say R. Kelly's not a predator. But what do predators do? They prey. They creep around. He knew that this girl, her parents weren't in her life like that. They weren't really caring what she did. And unfortunately, it's a lot of people like that. We know parents leave your kids along 12 years old in the house to fend for themselves and everything while you hit the clubs and go to the streets or whatever, and whatever she doing. You know what I'm saying?
She belongs to the streets.
While you doing all of that, your kids are at home. But you saying you're not a predator, but at the very end of the day, you only go for girls that parents are not home. This is your norm. This is your normality. but you're not a predator. And you said even though she was extremely young. Exactly. That mean now I like to say that mean instead of that means. That mean you know she was too young and you did not care because you said no crime or the crime had already been done. And that means, listen, let me tell you something. If I was with a woman and trust me, I know women. I know women. But let's say, for instance, one hornswoggled me and I was with her and she told me she was 16 years old, I would be sick to my stomach. That's me. Some of you, I've heard men say, as long as there's grass on the playing field. I've heard men say that literally was there. Walked away from that conversation because it's over, but as long as there's grass on the playing field. That's disgusting to me. That's somebody's daughter. And the same ingrates that did that, if it was their daughter, they'd be upset. If it was their daughter, they'd be upset. This is disgusting, despicable. Let's go.
From 17 to 22, I fucked this chick for 5 years. And I ain't ashamed at it at all.
I know
She
you ain't.
was willing. She wanted it. And here we come to R. Kelly. R. Kelly is being portrayed as a predator, right? Did he hold a gun to these women's heads? Years and years ago, back before the internet, I saw the R. Kelly tape. If you remember, there was a VHS tape that was sold around in barbershops, and it was him. It was him. He was peeing on this girl. He was having sex with her. It was 100% him. And this is where R. Kelly went wrong. R. Kelly was a good-looking man. R. Kelly had fame. R. Kelly was rich, and he was reckless. See, he has that appetite. And I'm going to try to explain this appetite to you guys who don't have this appetite. Because the normal man doesn't have this appetite.
The normal man doesn't have an appetite for girls young enough to be his granddaughter. You're absolutely right. We don't have that appetite. The normal man, the man that doesn't need to be in jail, we don't have that appetite to go after somebody's daughter that young. I mean, I'm curious to know, when you guys go for girls that young, what is it? You scared of a woman? You like to control children? I mean, I'm curious. What is it about them? Because you can't handle a woman. And when I say handle, I'm not talking about ones that are out of control and masculine. I'm talking about you can't handle a woman, period. You like little girls. I mean, what's the issue here? Why do you like little girls? Oh, I'm sorry. This dude is off the chain, y'all. I mean, what is it? And I asked earlier. I asked Tammy. I said, "What is it about young girls that these men go for?" And the thing is, well, I don't want to get ahead of myself. I'll answer that later. But
there is something special about fucking a young girl who's doesn't have a lot of miles on her. She doesn't have a lot of experience.
Okay, he answered it. One of the reasons that I believe these men go for these girls is because they don't have a lot of miles on them. As many times, I know you guys are in this quote unquote sexual revolution, but a lot of men, if they were being honest, they would tell you, forget what you're hearing about men that say, I want an experienced woman. That's not necessarily true. We live in a society where men don't want women with a whole lot of miles on them. So a lot of these dudes go for these young girls because they know they don't have the miles on them. And it is a certain thing that we won't get into today, but I'm pretty sure y'all know it's this misnomer about the anatomy of that, which may or may not be true. And so we know that's one of the reasons, because they all say that. If you would go to court logs and say they would all, whatever, they would admit to it, they would say that. If you watch these sick prison movies, they would say that. I don't think it's necessarily, well, it's control to a certain degree. But if we talking about a man that's just thinking about his penis, he only thinks about that. I don't really think he's trying to have a relationship. I just think it's just sex. And so these men like this that look like Fat Albert, They don't want women with a whole lot of mouths. Some of them don't want women with a whole lot of mouths because they're not rolling with anything. Let's be honest. Because I can't see a reason why you want to go with a girl that young. I just can't. But I do know men particularly don't like women with a whole lot of mouths. We're not getting into the relationship stuff today. We sticking here. But yeah, there are a lot of men that don't want that. But to go that young, I mean, you're 52 years old, to be honest with you. Good luck. Any woman you get with is going to have some mileage on her. And because you don't have mileage, I mean, I don't like to play that game with men and women and stuff like that. We know there is a difference here. But at the very end of the day, if you want a woman that's quote unquote virtuous, then find one. Good luck with your search, but don't go for somebody's child, period.
I remember this chick, she was 22, and she did not have a lot of sexual experience when we started messing around. And I pulled out my dick, and she was like, "You think that's going to fit?" So I knew that this girl had not had a lot of sexual experience. And there is something special about fucking a chick who doesn't have a lot of sexual experience. Because everything you do to her is fun. It's all brand new. And if you've got that type of appetite, it can be insatiable. Like R. Kelly could have had the baddest adult chicks he wanted. But R. Kelly had that appetite. And this appetite could be the downfall of many, many men. Because, I'm not judging because I'm in a part of the kinky community. But R. Kelly allowed his appetite to literally wreck his life. Because once you get into orchestrating a trafficking syndicate, what does this mean? R. Kelly was having other people find and vet girls for him. And that's when it got out of control. This is the reason that I never got caught, because I never brought anyone else.
So y'all see this? He's right here admitting that he went around messing with young girls. That was his MO. He's admitting it. Y'all, you've seen this. The thing is, so why hasn't he been brought up on cases? Because you have to prove, as long as the other girls or whoever these other girls are not talking, he's going to get away with it. But you saw this with your own eyes. He said this is what he does. And the only difference between him and R. Kelly had his manager, one of which my sister and I, my brother and I, we all know. We know him. The guy that was in the show called Demetrius, he used to live near our church, the church I used to go to. We know him personally. R. Kelly has come to our church. So we know him. We know Demetrius. We don't know Rob. I mean, I got friends that play for him, of course. But yeah. Where's the pimp slap? You want the pimp slap? It's somewhere around here. Hold on. I got so many. There it is. Yeah. But we know he had people go out and get girls. But that's the only difference between you and him. So y'all both like young girls. Y'all see this? That's crazy. Let's go.
Into my circus, so to speak. When I was doing it, was just me and the girls. Never ever brought anyone else in the circus. But here's my problem. He's being portrayed as a predator, right? Here's the thing. Remember when I started this video and I told you I had all these high school girls answering my Craigslist ads? Did I have a gun to their head? Did I ask them to reply to my ads? They were searching this out. So this is why I have a problem with the predator label, because they were willing participants in the dynamic. I can tell you, I remember this one girl who answered my ad, and she was 15 years old. 15 years old. We were talking and stuff. And I knew I was never going to meet this chick. I just talked to her and she sent me dirty pictures. She
Whoa, whoa,
was
whoa, 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 whoa,
running
whoa, whoa, stop.
100 miles.
Stop. Yo, whoa, yo, stop. You knew she was 15 years old. You just incriminated yourself. Did you not know if she sends you pictures and y'all talked on that level where she was sending you naked pictures? Dude, that's against the law. Depending on where you are, that's against the law. I think that's a cap. I think that's cap right there. I think he lying. So she's 15 years old. She's sending you pictures. You had conversations with a 15-year-old girl. Why is this dude allowed to roam free? Why? Listen, when this came across, my sister, I think she sent this to me, I was disturbed, not because of who he is, and there's people that still follow him to this day. And I got another video that I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna try to get through this. But it's amazing that it is people like this all around and think it's okay. Sharice, we know Ernest. If Sharice is watching this, Ernest was the biggest child pedophile in the world. If I run across you, Ernest, this is going to be a problem. But Ernest was like this. His name was Ernest. Everybody knew he was on that. So many people, and they are around. Those of us who go to church, we know they're around. They're around. They're in the pulpit in most cases. Because these kind of people, the one thing that they use is power. Wasn't it the church out here in Hammond? Thank you, Sharice. He was. The neighborhood predator, old rerun Stubbs looking dude. The neighborhood, and the thing is, right up under your nose. But then right up here in Hammond, it was a preacher that was a pedophile. I think he got fired, or they got rid of him. This happens. This is not, the thing is, this is something that's so swept under the rug because everybody's like, oh, he's just playing. No, he's not. These people they exist and they will screw your daughter. They will screw your daughter. And then they'll be just like this trying to justify it. See, the thing is, when R. Kelly went down and everything, he pretty much felt like, I'm going to put my business out here. Because he really thinks nobody's going to do anything to him. And this happened in October. It's January, so we don't know. But this is crazy. Let's go.
Miles an hour in that direction. And I'm quite sure that she hooked up with some older man. You hear of girls who are 15, 16, 17-year-old hooking up with 30, 40-year-old men. You know how common that is? Let me tell you something that happened. And it's kind of out there. I was running my ads, and I had this woman who was a mother. And she was like, are you a black bull? And I was just like, yes, I am. And she says, I have 2 daughters, and I want to properly train them. I want you, and in the future, we may actually breed them. See, if you guys don't know, there's a whole, the sexual underground, shout out to Ron Wills. There's a whole sexual underground of white women who love having sex with black dudes. And they really love having sex with black dudes with big dicks.
This
and
is
once again,
bullshit.
You will see. So she and I was sitting there like, this can't be real. So she sends me photos of her daughters who are 16 and 17. And they're pretty frisky looking. So I play along. So I go to her house, and the mom was hot. And I have a conversation with her, and I was like, so what do you want to do? And she says, it is the white woman's place to be the sexual fuck toy of the black man.
I'm going to call cap on this.
And I was like, really? And she said, yes. Then you know what I told this woman? She was about 40-ish, 45, 46, blonde, green-eyed, nice rack on her. And I said, bitch, get on your knees. You know what she did? She got on her knees.
Do this real quick, and I'm gonna keep going. I think he lying too. I think he capping right here. But does this guy sound like he's in his 50s? Or does he sound like he's in high school? Would you believe if I told you this dude has 100 and something thousand followers and he's pretty successful financially? He's written books. He has books out here. He has a website. I'm going to get to that. But does this sound like someone who's educated? Ladies, this is what I say. This is a scally. This is a scallywag right here. Just because he has money doesn't make him not a scallywag. He's a scallywag. Definitely a scallywag. Like scallywag supreme. So if you're looking at this, just type scally. Just type scally. Go ahead and type scally. Mega scally for this one. He's a scallywag. He sounds like a teenage boy. And he's probably, and honestly, it goes deeper than that with this scally. I guarantee you this dude probably got turned down a lot when he was in school. He probably got turned down a lot. And he uses his money because younger girls and younger women, they tend to flock to that. Look at the videos. Thank you. He's a scally. Thank you for typing it. Scally. Mega scally. And they usually go for that because women his age, even though men like that don't usually go for women in his age, but even the woman in 35, if he's 50, 35, 30, they not going for this dude. They not going for him. Well, at least in his mind, he thinks they're not going. So he goes for real young. First of all, ain't no chick like that gonna invite you. That sounds far-fetched. This story sounds very, very far-fetched for me. It sounds far-fetched. Let's continue with the scally.
And I took my dick out and I fucked her throat. And I was like, now this is what's funny. Her daughters were in the room. Let me say that again. Her daughters were in the room. So I fucked her throat. Then I told her to stand up and then strip butt naked. And then I fucked her on the sofa. And her daughters were on the sofa watching the whole thing. And she was like, this is how you take that big black dick, girls. This is how you do it. And I'm just sitting there like, is this fucking real?
What?
So I'm fucking the mom. Then the mom's like, come over here. And she calls her girls' names. And then she's like, get on your knees. And then she put my dick in her daughter's mouth. I mean, I almost nutted. It was like, because if you're kinky, this is like the epitome. This is the high level of kinkiness.
So, listen, y'all hear this? Y'all hear this, Scally? This dude thinks that the high level of kinkiness is a 45-year-old woman with a 16 and 17-year-old daughter having a threesome with a beer belly, fat, nasty scallywag. I think this is cap. I really do. I think this is cap right here. I think he's lying right now. I think he's lying. I mean, yo.
And then she had the other daughter come over and suck my dick. And then essentially, I was fucking all three of them for about 5 or 6 years. I would go over,
Nigga, please.
I would have the mom, and I would have them greet me butt ass naked. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. When people say predator, I'm like, I'm trying to give you guys the other side of the dynamic. I'm trying to give you the other side of what's out there. And I personally don't think these girls were victims. I don't think R. Kelly's a predator. He has an appetite.
Real quick, somebody in my comment section, tell me yes or no when I give you this scenario when you're ready. I only go after girls that are vulnerable. I go after girls that parents are not around. I make sure I isolate them from their parents. I woo them in with my money, my fame, my stature, my power. I then use mind manipulation on them to get them to stay and continue to have sex with me. Yes or no? Is that not clear-cut definition of a predator? Especially when she's young? Tell me if yes or no. He's like, listen, the sad part about this is he has convinced himself that this is okay. That's the sad part about it. He has convinced himself that this is okay. But this is okay. See, the bad part about it, when you know, those of us who grew up in church, we always say that the Spirit convicts us. The Spirit convicts us. But those of us, we know when the Spirit convicts us, some of us, we have this conversation with it where we combat it, where we force ourselves and we say, oh, no, it wasn't this, it wasn't that. You're trying to rationalize what you've done. And it seems like this is what he's doing. He's done wrong. He knows he's done wrong, but he's trying to tell us in so many words, who you trying, older people, you say, who you trying to convince? Me or yourself? Because now it's just projecting that I'm really trying to defend myself, to make myself feel like this is okay. Because deep down inside, he knows it's not. I still call cap on this. It would be hard for me to believe that some woman would allow her 16, 17-year-old girls to potentially be ruined by some old beer belly dude unless he was throwing money. Now, man, he never said he threw money at the table. Now, this is a dude that got money. He has money. He has money. So if this was about money, then he's never saying that because it has to be that. Bro, it has to be that with you. At least you said R. Kelly was handsome. Some women would agree. Ladies, looking at this man, is this somebody you would go out with? Yes or no? Before we move on, ladies, is this somebody you would go out with? Looking at him right here, this nice leather in this car, but would you go out with him? Yes or no? I'm just waiting on one. And if you say yes, then we're going to have Cherie said, hell no. Not my type. Listen, I think even a dog would be better than him at this point. This is a despicable human being. Let's go.
And I feel that he allowed his appetite to get in the way of his life. So he's guilty of having that appetite, but I don't think he's a predator because when you go out and you get a young girl and you ask her to have sex and she does it without a gun to her head, like this whole situation with the mom and the two daughters, I didn't have to do nothing except show up.
But y'all forgot earlier, he said he goes for girls whose parents are not involved. He goes for girls whose parents are not involved in their lives. If the parents are too much involved in their life, he stay away from them to avoid, to avoid a lawsuit or criminal or whatever, them coming after him criminally. So this is your words. That's what predators do. If a lion was looking for deer or antelope or whatever they seek to hunt, they wouldn't go into the crowd of them. They get the one that's by itself. And then they pounce on that one. They pounce on that one. That's what a predator does. So for you to be so smart and rich, this right here, this proves that everybody who's rich is not worth it. Just like, I'm not going to get into relationship talk tonight. Let's do that Sunday. Let's go.
With a hard dick. That's all I had to do was just show up. And they would service me. I remember one Sunday, I fucked all three of them. I fucked the mom, I fucked the daughters. And the youngest one was really, really fucking tight. And their mom was like, yeah, we got to open up that pussy.
Cap.
And I mean, I was just sitting there fucking her. And their mom's like, that's it. Take that dick. Take that dick.
Cap.
And in the beginning, both of the girls were virgins. I took their virginity.
Their virginity.
And the young one, in the beginning, it used to hurt her. And she was like, it hurt.
Okay, I'm gonna call cap on this one. Let me. There is not a woman in the world that will allow a fat beer belly scally to take the virginity of their daughters like that. There is no way. If she waited until so you allow your 16 to 17 and 16, 17-year-old daughters to ruin themselves on somebody that you met on Craigslist. Are you serious? He wants us to believe this. He lying. You're lying, bro. You are lying. Nobody believes it. Show the receipt so it didn't happen.
Mom, it hurts. That's such a big dick. It hurts. And then after a few times and I loosened up that pussy, then she started getting into it.
Yeah, man, he's
then
talking
she
about
turned,
16-year-old.
to this day, this girl is a bona fide black cock slut freak. Whoever she's fucking right now is very happy. Very, very happy. So, once again, I don't believe R. Kelly's a predator. I think he has an appetite that got him in trouble because he could not control. Because here's the thing, and I forget the billionaire who was running the sexual trafficking. I forget his name. I could see him. He was a blonde, white guy. He had that same appetite. Now, I fucked that young girl, 17-year-old, the mom and her daughters, and that was,
I want to see this.
And there was a few more, but I did not look or hunt or subscribe to those young girls. My perfect age range was like 24 to about 34. That was where I operated quite a bit. But I'm here to tell you that, especially with the billionaire, these girls would go out and recruit girls, and they were adults. They were 100% aware of what they're doing. They were like, I am going to get this girl so she can have sex with this old billionaire. She knew there was no gun to her head, and they were stuffing her palms with cash. How is she a victim? How is he a predator? And this is one of the things that, I could be considered a predator because I've had a lot of sex with a lot of women.
No.
I could be considered a
woman. Shut up.
You shut your mouth when you're talking to me.
Let me explain. You are a predator because you are choosing to have sex with children that are 16, 17. And you are going about it in a way that's despicable. That's why you're a predator. That's why you consider a predator. Anybody that can get sex, that's stupid to even say you're a predator because you can get a woman to go for you. That's BS. You are a predator because you are going after young women, young girls. They're not even women. 16, 17-year-old, you're not women. And contrary to popular belief, some of you have said, and I've heard this being said, well, I always looked older for my age. No, you didn't. There was always something about you that makes somebody look and say, nah, maybe she not. And here's the thing, just because your body may look a certain way doesn't necessarily mean that you came across to be that way. When men say that junk, trust me, it's an ulterior motive. You don't look older than you are. You look like you are. Your body looks like you are. You don't look fully developed. So they're telling you that. They're lying to you. I've always looked older for my age. That's a lie. That's a lie. You did not. And those of us who are smarter, we know better. We can tell, like the difference between you being, maybe somebody say, well, I look older. We will give you 18 maybe. Because there's some 60-year-olds out here look like they 18. But no way in hell we're giving you 21, 25. You 13 years old. People say, I look like I'm 35. You lying. You look 13. That's a lie from the pits of hell. People think I'm older than no. Because once you start talking, that's the end of it. We know you're not. We know you're not. What school do you go to? What college? Because if you 18, you in college, and if you 18, you probably in high school. You gonna talk about high school stuff. Rihanna and all these other artists. A lot of things that a 50-year-old man wouldn't know nothing about. That's BS. You are a predator, sir.
Womanizer because I like slinging the dick. So guys, R. Kelly, he went too far. He brought other people in. He had an organization. They probably got him for trafficking and all this other stuff. I never went nowhere near that level. I never had anyone go out
young girls.
and find girls for me. Never did that. I did all my own work. Mm-hmm. And this is one of the reasons I never got in trouble. I remember.
Listen, are you guys paying attention? He said he never got in trouble because he didn't do the trafficking. Not because he didn't mess with girls that was too young. Are you guys listening? Not because he messed with girls because they were way too young. He shouldn't have been messed with them. That's not why he didn't get caught. He didn't get in trouble because he didn't have a syndicate. He didn't have his managers go out and get girls. Are you guys listening? It's this despicable arrogantness. Arrogantness, is that even a word? But his arrogance, that's the thing that's killing me. It's like he's so ho-hum about it. Oh, well. That is so crazy. That is actually men out here like this. It is. Look to your left, look to your right.
The mother and the two daughters. And one Saturday, I go over there, and the mother and the oldest one are out, and just the young one, right? So I'm talking to her and everything, and next thing you know, I take her titties out, start sucking on her titties and stuff, and I fuck her. And this is the first time I fucked her, and she came.
She's 16.
And it blew her mind. It blew her mind. So I understand R. Kelly on a deeper level. And once again, did he commit these crimes? I would say, yes, he had sex with young women.
And so did you.
I would say these young women were complicit. They were willing because he was R. Kelly. I'm here to tell you guys, it is not that hard for an older man to get a very young girl. It's not that hard at all. There are many girls out there who are looking for older men. Looking, searching, hunting for older men. And they're 14, 15, 16. And they have no problem taking the dick from a 25, 35, or even a 45-year-old man. None whatsoever. And part of this is, if R. Kelly wasn't R. Kelly, I don't think none of this would have went down. I feel that R. Kelly pissed off the wrong person. I don't know what he did, but he pissed off the wrong person, and that launched this investigation. Because I saw this tape of R. Kelly pissing on this girl in 2000. It was like 2000, maybe 2002. I saw this tape. It was him. It was him.
We know that.
And he's had this appetite since Aaliyah. And I personally don't think there's anything wrong with older guys liking younger girls. Because at the time he was with Aaliyah, I think he was 21 and she was 16. To me, that's not a really big difference. But R. Kelly had that appetite. He had that appetite.
Unbelievable.
And that appetite can ruin you. I have somewhat of an appetite, but I have limits. There's just certain things I'm not going to do. There's just certain boundaries I'm not going to cross. And essentially, I conducted my fuckery in the safe zone. I did stuff I knew I could get away with. I did not go out. Like, there was this one girl, and she was super cute. And then I did my research on her and saw her pictures of her with her mom and dad which means her parents were very much involved in her life. And that right there would have been the danger zone.
Help me! Help me!
Is that not what a predator does? He just pretty much just told us how he's a predator. He looks and sees if their parents around, which means you had something you really wanted to do. You knew where everything you were doing was wrong. It's right here in your face. Are you guys listening? He wanted to see if their parents were around. If their parents weren't around, he left them alone. That was his danger zone. So as long as the parents weren't around and everything, then he got them. That is a predator. That is a predator, sir.
Because this is how it happens. She comes over, we fuck, she goes home, her mom and dad press her. He's like, I fucked this old man. And next thing you know, mom and dad call the police. Police knocking at your door. That's how that goes down. So I never put myself.
Sir, if you haven't committed a crime and you're within the legal age of consent, why on earth would they be able to call the police? Why would the police be knocking on your door? If everything you're doing is, you're saying they're within the age of legal consent, the age of consent, right? Why would the police need to show up to your house? Because he knew, just like R. Kelly, I bet you he even got some 14. He probably went down to 14. I guarantee you more likely he did. He knows what he's doing is wrong. But I'm still thinking he capping. I really think if it really came down to it, you find out he didn't do any of this.
In the crosshairs of the danger zone. And it really wasn't in comparison to the number of women. It wasn't a lot. But I can tell you, young pussy can be fucking amazing. When you stick your dick in some pussy they ain't never had a dick in it before, woo! It's so tight, it's so warm, it's so snug. And I feel that the R. Kellys, and once again, this white billionaire, put his name in the comments because I know y'all gonna Google him. And I feel that as a man, you have to know what you can get away with and what you can do and what you can't. And
what? What, sir? Did y'all hear what? Did y'all hear that? You have to know what you can do and get away with. Why would you need to get away with anything if it was legal, sir? Why would you do that if it was legal? If it was legal, then you didn't need to get away with anything. Getting away with something is not anything that you would need to bother yourself about. He's an idiot. The fact that people follow this dude, for the 30 or 28 or whatever thousand people that's following this dude, you need to stop. Because if he capping you about this, and he's pretty much displaying that he's a predator, and he believes in he's a pedophile, why would you take his financial advice? And when I went to his page, he's asking for $1,000 for one of his classes. You are a fool if you get that man. You need your tail beat. You give this man your money, you need to be slapped. Definitely. He's disgusting. It gets worse though.
Once again, I feel that R. Kelly pissed someone off. Because if R. Kelly was just Robert, the truck driver, even if he did all of these things, he would have never went to jail. Never would have happened. Because he was R. Kelly, there was something he did. There's someone in power he pissed off. And that's why, because the thing is, they went after him for years and years and years. They were after him like a dog on a bone. They were after him. And there was a reason they were after him. Because what R. Kelly did, happens every damn day.
That's not
right
true.
now. There's some old dude fucking a teenager right now.
And you're okay with that?
Right
sir?
now. There is some old dude sliding the sausage up in some young pussy right now. This is how common it is. It is a common thing in America. And don't even talk about the rest of the world. The rest of the world, hands up, just let that go. But if I had allowed my appetite to get out of hand, I could have been in trouble.
Why?
And I consciously knew what I was.
Why would you need to get in trouble, sir? Unless you broke the law. I mean, if I was a lawyer and we just had one case, if we had just one case, one, because just like R. Kelly, sir, only thing you need to do is tick off the wrong person. And you have that one. They got this. You're going to jail, bro. If they put this tape on, of course, they need to provide evidence that you actually did that, but this could be incriminating. And there's not a lawyer on earth that can, you put this on public platform. There's no way you can get around it. They're going to say, they're not going to say this is inadmissible. They're going to bring this in. If you ever catch a case, sir, Glendon, they're going to use this against you. Guaranteed. Unbelievable.
Doing, and I consciously, I got like this sixth sense, right? That lets me know when something's not cool is about to happen. And there was just certain chicks who would answer, and they were tasty, they were beautiful. They would send me photos of their titties and their pussy and all this other stuff. And I would just like, nope, not that one. That's the danger zone. That is the danger zone. That is the danger zone. That is the danger zone. And I never mess with those chicks. If a girl was young and she was halfway close to her parents, you could be looking at jail time because
you cannot make this stuff up, y'all. He's pretty much saying over and over and over again that if her parents are around, he's not going to mess with them. Why? Because that's a danger zone. Why would her parents need to call the police on you, sir? If it's the legal age of consent, why would they need to call the police? Why is that so much a danger zone? You got to be by far the dumbest person in the world. You just pretty much gave the prosecution the case. You probably need to go to Johnny's grave, dig him up, and say, "Hey, can you defend me? I'm gonna need you, bro." Because if they bring this in, it's a wrap. Exactly, Sharice. He's on Craigslist. He's on Craigslist, Sharice, because he can't find a woman that wants him, even with all his money. Now, I would tell you over and over again, men with money are usually successful with women, but that's not all the time. I don't deal in absolutes. I deal in statistics, which means 70% of them. But it's still 30% that ain't gonna get no woman. This is probably one of them, or at least he thinks so. So he has to go after young women and then lie because he's lying right now. You can't tell me nobody is this stupid to do this. Nobody can be this dumb. There is no way. This dude tried to come for me and say this because I always say this is dumb. I say this is dumb. Because it is dumb if you think we believe that you had all this happen and you be dumb enough to come on social media and put it out here. You cannot be this stupid.
what they're gonna do, like when they're with you, they're gonna fold, they're gonna take the dick, they're gonna do all this stuff. And when mom and dad start putting the heat on them, they're gonna fold like a cheap sheet. And they're like, and this is what we did. And the next thing you know, mom and dad are calling 911. Because some old man defiled their young daughter. Some old man put his mature penis up in her immature pussy. And we can't have that. We can't have.
It doesn't matter. It, like, say for instance in Georgia, she could have said that. The police gonna be like, and she's old. How old is your daughter, ma'am? She's 16. Well, ma'am, there's nothing we can do. That's the legal age of consent. Did he rape her? Because that's the only thing that they would come for you for, is if it was rape. Then you have a case. Had you said that, I still wouldn't let you get away, but that's reasonable. But just because she, quote unquote, got defiled, yeah, that's not a good enough reason for the police to show up to your house, sir. But if she was 14 and the legal age is 16, they're going to show up to your house. And justifiably so. It's people like this out here for real.
So you cannot be messing with girls who have intensive parental contact.
You cannot mess with girls that have extensive parental contact. He's not saying you can't mess with girls that's too young. This is insane. And this dude is walking around free.
Can't be messing with them. And I feel, now, once again, there are so many girls out here, like these pimps. These girls are looking for a daddy, and these pimps serve as a daddy figure. This is like, I'm telling you, sometimes they'll get them hooked on drugs. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes the pimp just has to snap his fingers, and this girl will do whatever he wants her to do because she's looking for daddy. She's looking for daddy. So it really depends upon who you are and how you look at this. But I personally don't think R. Kelly's a predator. I feel that he has a voracious appetite. He has a certain type. It is illegal. It's underage. And he allowed that appetite to literally ruin his life, because I guarantee you, R. Kelly knows who's after him. And once he figured out that someone was after him, he should have hit the chill pill, but he didn't. He kept going, he kept going, he kept going, and they kept after him, and they kept after him, and now he's going to jail. So I could have been a predator. Same energy.
You are a predator.
Same appetite. Except I'm a nobody. I'm a nobody. That's why I was able to do this stuff and get away with it, because I'm a nobody. But if I was an R. Kelly or this billionaire dude,
he's able to do this stuff and get away with it. Notice he's saying the only reason why he hasn't, because he's a nobody. Not because he's not messing with young girls like R. Kelly. I mean, this dude is an idiot. You are an idiot, sir. You are an idiot.
Or if I was someone like that, you best believe they would have been on my ass. How dare you be rich, famous, handsome, and be fucking young pussy? How dare you? How dare you do what I want to do, but I can't do because I'm not in your position? How dare you? So,
I don't have your money, sir. I mean, according to you making $400,000 a month. I'm not making that. But I'm pretty sure if I wanted to go after some young girls, I could. I'm pretty sure I could. But what makes me different from you is I'm not sick. You, my friend, are sick. You have issues. And you think that this is okay. We're not jealous of you. We don't hate you. We just find you grossly and inherently evil and despicable. We don't mess with girls that are 13, 14, 15, 16. Men with purpose don't. Scallies do. Oh, a scally would do it in a minute. And you, my friend, are a scally. You're probably one of the most successful scallies. Well, not really. You don't have more money in the future, but still, you're still a scally. That's the difference. Nobody's hating on you. We just have morals. We have standards. We have a conscience. And some of us, we aspire to have children, or we are around children. I work in childcare. I wish a brother would come up in there and try that with one of my kids. Because once they drop them off, they mine. I promise you, I will be on 7 o'clock news with me locked up in jail. Yeah, I done it. That'd be me.
Guys, I'm getting ready to do some more training. I'm getting ready to be more active on this channel. So be looking out for that. Hopefully you enjoyed this expose. Shout out to Ron Wills. Shout out to Alan Roger Curry. Those dudes know me very well. So that's all I got for you guys. I will see you in the next one.
And there you have it. But he wasn't done. He wasn't done. Yeah, he had training. He's a financial coach. But he wasn't done. Apparently, he was upset that because after this surfaced, people were trying to cancel him. They were trying to get rid of him. And I'm pretty sure some of the more rich, connected people were trying to walk away from him sideways. And so he came back on YouTube. He came back. He came back with his own video. And he let it rip. I didn't keep it all. I just kept a little bit of it that I'm about to show. And then I'm going to give my final synopsis, and then I'm going to jump off of here. But wait till you see this little clip. Y'all ready? Unbelievable.
I personally think all the men who are making these videos about me are feminine as fuck. And also, I think there's the key of jealousy. Because someone put up a comment, man, it ain't about you getting young pussy. It's about you being successful. And I've always had haters, but this brought out a new brand of haters, and it brought out a new level of awareness, because I might make $400,000 this month, which puts me ahead of the pace of 2020, which was my most successful year ever. So the cancel Glendon Cameron project is pretty much ran off the rails.
So in that video, he had a lot of stuff that he posted. He said they try to cancel me, but here, this is why they can't cancel me. That's why they can't cancel me. He had a few things. He posted his website, his books, and everything else. And basically saying because I'm successful, they can't cancel me. I'm still canceling me. I'm still here. I'm still doing my thing. Because people were willing to look the other way. How many of you ladies that were sexually assaulted at work, at home, or whatever, and because it was a person of prominence, they looked the other way? That happens. People like this get away with this crap all the time. That's why they continue to do it. I believe he was overall capping, but if he wasn't, that's pretty bad, y'all. And here's why it bothered me, and then I'm gonna go. When the R. Kelly stuff first happened, there were a lot of musicians that decided to ride the sack of R. Kelly and say some of the despicable things we heard in this video, which is why it resonated so well with me in a negative way. They were saying nobody put a gun to their head. Nobody forced them. A lot of them women, they were already, you think this was the first time. Just every despicable excuse. I lost friends over this R. Kelly. I've dissociated myself with some of these people because of that situation. I don't talk to them. I have nothing to do. And some of my friends, we actually left statuses and said, if you have something to do with that, if you want here defending R. Kelly, we don't have nothing to do with you. Because some things are indefensible. And it's not me saying I'm high and mighty, but good Lord, these are somebody's daughters. These are somebody's children. You were okay. And then you tried to put it on the girl. They are young. We were young. When our parents tried to tell us stuff, we didn't want to listen. We did things our way. That's part of being young and dumb. It is not for you to blame us and put everything on us. You are the adult. You're the one that's supposed to exercise some level of restraint. But because you could not, and you decided to prey on these young people, now we got idiots talking about, oh, you R. Kelly, and then you got people saying, oh, well, you still gonna listen to his music. Like, this is where we are. When a person has stature and power, especially some of my constituents, you're willing to go to the rooftop with them. And I found that very despicable. So some of the same ones, they'll see this video, be like, oh my God, look at what he was saying. But you was defending this 2 years ago when R. Kelly was in trouble before. When did that come out? Somebody let me know when that came out, when Surviving R. Kelly came out. They attacked the girls. Now, man, I understand how this works. They still do it to Bill Cosby. When people come out the woodworks, he did this to me, he did this to me. I understand that aspect. But some of these people we knew. He did do that to, what's that girl name? Aaliyah? Yeah, he messed with that girl. That's despicable. And that shouldn't be something that should be tolerated. And if you are the kind of person that think it's okay because she was a willing participant, it gives you the right to deal with a 14, 15-year-old girl, then something is seriously wrong with you. And you have been allowed to sit on an organ, to sit on drums, to sit on keyboards, to sit at the bass and be a child predator. Something is wrong with you. And something is wrong with the church. Because we all know of somebody who did it. Thank you. Thank you, Silla. It was 2019. And when that show came out, I saw the posts. Everyone, they were really participants. No, they're lying. Everybody lying on R. Kelly. Everybody's not lying on you. Everybody's not lying on R. Kelly. That man did do it. I know musicians that play for him. They would tell you he did it. Let me tell y'all a story and then I'm going to jump off of here. I used to go to a church called Greater First Church in East Chicago, Indiana. Bishop Tavis Grant, he's still there. I'm not. And at the time we were working on a project, my brother and I, we were working on a project at a studio in Chicago. I think it changed its name to Chocolate Factory. I forgot what it was called when we were there, though. I forgot what it was called. But it was R. Kelly. I think he was buying it or whatever. But he spent a lot of time there. So one time I was in the studio, I was playing bass. I was doing my thing, right? Because we worked on that project. We actually worked hard on it. It was our first one. And when in comes someone and says, hey, are you guys using the booth? And my brother and I looked at each other like, yeah, we are. And he was like, okay. So he came back again and said, you done using the booth? And by then I was starting to get irritated because I'm like, dude, what do you want? But we were done in the booth. So we were just mixing at that time. We were still trying to do it, finish the record. We were doing edits or whatever. So the door closes. He comes back maybe 10, 15 minutes later. We're in there working. The door opens. 2 girls walk in. They look. Now, man, they didn't look old. They looked oldest 18 maybe younger. They wasn't old, though. They came in. Looked like they were inebriated. They came and laid down in the vocal booth on the floor. They laid down on the floor. These girls were young. That was something I saw then. So, of course, I knew when he got in trouble, I remembered this very vividly. This happening in the studio when I was there, that they was having this wild party and it was young girls there. So when it all came out, I wasn't ready to say, oh, well, they're all lying now, because I remembered that. I never forgot it. I never forgot that. That's something that my brother, if he was watching, he would say he remembered it. We were at that studio. It was kind of late. We were working. But they came in and then they slept on the floor in a vocal booth. They didn't even get them a bed. So when all that stuff came out, I was like, yeah. So I remembered how I felt when I saw them. Because like I said, in my mind, I was still in my 20s, late 20s, mid 20s. They were younger than me. I knew that. You could tell they were young. They had that. When you're a young developing woman, you don't have that look. It's a look that you guys have that we know that you're young. We know that you're young. You look young. Your face, not even just your body, your face. Your face is some features that has not yet developed into full womanhood. And so looking at them, they didn't carry themselves like that. They didn't look like, because first of all, to be honest, there is no woman, no sister that will allow a man to do what he did to you and then throw you in the vocal booth on the floor. I don't know none. And I'm using it bonics. I don't know none. All the women I know would be like, I'm not sleeping on this floor. You finna give me a room. You gonna use this money and give me the hotels around the corner. So for me, it was, when this came out, I was like, okay, I know this is happening. But I was so disappointed in my musician friends, the ones that was defending it. Y'all know y'all still gonna listen to his music. Come on. One doesn't have anything to do with the other. It doesn't. His music is his music. Then you're not gonna go out and buy it. I know I wouldn't. But they were using everything. And so to listen to this dude talk, it brought my mind back to maybe like a year or two ago when I was reading these statuses from people who were saying R. Kelly didn't do it, free R. Kelly. And I'm listening to this and I'm saying, we've come to, a lot of us are okay with it. The way, exactly. We came, well, not the black community, but yeah, some of them did. And I don't think that this was the system working against him. My thing is this, even if it was the system working against you, why would you try to do something that you know the system can get you with? That's a dumb hill to fight on. That's just stupid. But it upset me. It upset me because I felt like this is not where we should be. This is a very, 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 very real situation in our community. Child abuse, number one, and sexual assault within our children. It is very, very real, y'all. And it's very real even down to young children. This happens. So what are we going to do as a people to deal with this situation? Are we willing to put people that we revered on and hold them accountable? Or just because we love their music, are we ready to continue to give them a pass? These are decisions that we need to make as a people. These are decisions that we need to make. We need to set a moral standard where you cannot mess with our future. You cannot mess with our children and think it's going to be okay. I don't care if you think they are 16. I don't care if you think they have perky breasts. I don't care anything about that. If you cannot control your penis, then you need to go to jail. And maybe Big Roy will control your penis for you. And it pains me. Not because he did this, that hurts within itself. But the cavalier attitude about it. Like, yeah, I've done it. Just and so graphic about the way you talking about people's kids. This is very real. And sooner or later, even in church, because it happens in church a lot too, we're going to have to deal with this situation, or it's going to come up in a major way. And we always talking about how people talking about the church, but we don't deal with issues. We do not deal with issues in church. We do not deal with issues. We point the finger and we rebuke, but we do not deal with issues. We will not talk about these issues. We will not address people who doing it. We don't hold them accountable. They get away with stuff over and over again, especially if they pastor, bishop, or whatever name and title you want to give them. You allow these sexual predators to come to your church and prophesy over and over again. And how many times do we see these people in sexual cases where it's always something going wrong with their penises or something like that, and nothing is done? They continue to get followers. They continue to get preaching engagements, and we do nothing about it. At some point, people, we're going to have to do something about it, because men like this exist in the church. They exist. They're on some auxiliary. And until we are ready to deal with this, we are hindering our future. Because how can we have a future when I'm old and I can't do anything anymore, and the most I can do is probably push a button and go live when I'm 60 years old to give you Bible study? But when the young people are ready to take over, they're going to be so damaged, they're not going to be able to lead anything, that a little blow and a flick on their forehead, they're going to be ready to toss over and everything's going to fall apart, because we won't protect them. We won't deal with these issues. So we got a whole generation under us that's dealing with a whole lot of stuff that we didn't have to deal with. Even my generation didn't have to deal with. Now, I dealt with sexual abuse and all of that, but I'm saying they dealing with it in a way that's, man, it's magnified. And we're not even trying to protect them for what some of us went through. And then we're saying, oh, you are future. You have to lead. Lead us to what? Lead us to what end? We wouldn't even look out for them. Because even though those 16, 17-year-old girls, they may have had their fun, but letting them mess around with this beer belly scally, that can possibly hurt them ever. I mean, later on in life. That could. They're not going to forget. You turned them to the streets before they was even 18. Before they was even 18. You made them for the streets. Already, before they 18. This is what we deal with. This is our reality. I say it all the time. Sex is that one issue that we, especially church people, we will not deal with. We will not deal with it. And I said it on a panel I was before, and everybody was blown away that I said it. But I meant it, every word. Then we turn around and sit them down for something we never educated them on. I would continuously say that. You are being beat over the head. We would sit these young people down, but we refuse to have a good conversation about sex, what it means, what happens, why you should wait. None of that. We don't have these candid conversations. But then you get sat down, and sex seems to be the only sin we're sitting people down for, but we'll sit these young people down for doing something we ain't teaching them. But meanwhile, there's a whole F-fest going on with everybody else in the church, and just because it's so hush-hush about it, nobody gets in trouble. And the young people, they suffer. The young people, they suffer. And these new young people, you sit them down, they just leave. They won't come back. Because they feel like, why should I? That's the one subject we don't talk about. We just say, don't do it. Don't have sex. Just don't have it. Meanwhile, we doing it with people who ain't our wives. But we tell the young people, don't have sex, don't do it. This is the one issue. And sexual abuse, these are the issues that if we don't deal with them, mark my words, come back to this life. Come back to this life. If we do not deal with them, they're going to come and bite us in the tail later on when they, the young people, that the ones that are left, are leading the church. Because a lot of the leaders, the younger ones, some of them are becoming leaders. If they would be transparent, they would tell you they struggled in their sexuality, whether it was hetero or homo, whether they were lesbian or not. If they would be honest, they struggled. And if they would be totally honest, it stemmed long before. I was sexually molested as a young man. I was. And the crazy thing, one of them was a girl. I'm way younger than you. I may have been 6 or 7. You dang near going to high school. That's an issue. That is an issue. But we will not deal with it. We don't deal with it as a community, Black people. We definitely don't deal with it at church. It needs to be dealt with. It needs to be dealt with, or we gonna suffer. Men like R. Kelly, men like this men like the people that you know, your brothers, your cousins, because some of us have family members, we know they predators, we know they rapists, we know they do this stuff, and they sweep under the rug. We don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. No, that ends. It should end. At what point does it? That could have ruined me. I just started talking about it maybe a year or two ago, and I'm in my 40s. Nobody knew. My mama didn't know. Carl Sharice probably did. But they knew. I dealt with it. And these young people, they dealing with it on a worse level than I did. So what are we going to do? We're going to continue to defend people because they are pastors or because they are bishops or because they are minister of music or they are chief musician or they are deacons or whatever title you want to give them. Are we going to continue to do that or are we going to deal with this situation? I want to know. Sharice, your issue was swept under the rug. I remember. Under the rug. And what happens when you keep sweeping dirt under the rug? Eventually, that pile is going to be evinced. It's going to be ubiquitous. Everybody's going to see this big old hump in the rug. And they're going to be like, bro, why you got a hump in your rug? Then when you lift it up, you see skeletons, you see bones, you see blood, you see tears, you see the years and years and years of this stuff that's been piled up so high that everybody can see it. But at this point, it's then turned to mold, mildew, and everything, and it's impossible to remove it unless you destroy the floor. When we could have just dealt with it instead of sweeping under the rug, you take it and throw it in the garbage. But now the whole rug, the whole floor got to go because of this big old mountain. Is that what we want? I know this is a little deep for you, for some of you, but this is where we are. We can no longer deal with situations like this. This man, because he wanted us, he should get a pass, right? If he had something to offer, if he was a pop star, if he was anything, I mean, believe it or not, I'm not even so sure about Michael Jackson. All those kids that went to Never Never Land, let's be honest. It was some doubts there if we want to be honest. But what happened? That's Michael Jackson. He got off. It was swept under the rug. All the others got paid off. We don't know about those other cases, them NDAs. So this is where we are. And so I'm sorry to my musician friends that I don't talk to anymore. I mean, not that you would watch this, but I am. I'm sorry about that. But when you defend stuff like this, it makes me reevaluate because of my history and everything I went through, it made me reevaluate if you're somebody I need to associate with. Because that's too much for me. That you would defend something like that. I mean, defend it. Not just give an opinion. Defend it. Like this idiot. Leaving lives, going live. Everybody's going live. I'll go live. I'm not knocking that. But I'm saying going live with this. If y'all was being honest, if you guys were being honest, when this stuff came out and R. Kelly was doing all this, you knew you saw the lives. You saw the lives. You saw them happening. Everybody was talking about it. And you saw those people. And if you really, really think, you remember those lives where people was defending them. And you were like, oh, man. And they were like, oh, wait, R. Kelly. And I get emotional about this because it's painful. Because I remember what I went through. It hurt. Not what was done. It didn't hurt. But the pain that I felt, the shame that I felt, and the fact that I felt that nobody cared. And, unfortunately, as men, even as young men, we're taught to hold in a lot of emotion. So I never really dealt with the situation of being abused. I never really dealt with it. But lately I've been talking about it. And every now and then I get emotional about it because I remember how I felt even at, what was I, Sharice? 6, 5, 6, 7? Yeah. If we could be honest. And then we need to look, that pain that I have, that's why I was so angry. Because to say that they was willing participants, it doesn't change the fact that they were still preyed upon. It doesn't. And some of us really need to reevaluate ourselves. We really need to reevaluate ourselves and really come to grips with who we are as people. And I feel like until we as a community are willing to take this on, we're going to continue to be here. The Bible was speaking about that, where it said, if my people who are called by my name should humble themselves and pray, seek my face. But it's the one that we can't get right. That repent part is the part we don't get right. And that would mean taking accountability for the stuff that you did, making that part of it right, No healing and reconciliation can happen until that part. We all want the forgiveness, but we don't want the part to say, I'm sorry, and the turning that I'm not going to do it no more with the contrite heart and say, I'm not going to do it. That's what it's going to take. And having discussions like this and being real about where we are with this situation of child abuse, sexual abuse, with our youngsters, our teenagers. And let me get this, do a 180, not a 360, exactly. And let me get this straight, because that's the same, to me, that's the same as you saying, I had sex with this young girl because she was dressed in a certain way at a young age. Because she was dressed that way didn't mean you had sex with her. It's just dumb logic. So anyway, I hope that we can get it together. And I wanted to share this video with you to bring you aware of this predator and other predators like him. We need to do something about these people, y'all, because this is unacceptable. R. Kelly, all these other people, these preachers. And shout out to these people out here, Church Folk Revolution, and those guys, they used to do this all the time. I don't know if they do it as much anymore, but they used to expose these people, these preachers, these people going around having sexcapades on young girls and everybody else. That needs to happen. We need to get this together. But anyway, I love you guys. I will be here Monday. Monday, I'm going live. I might go live tomorrow, but on Facebook only, because I might do some sports tomorrow. I haven't done sports in a while. But I just want to share that with you. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I'm sorry to get emotional on you, but hey, you see the real me. This is the real me. And certain things I'm passionate about. And this is one of them now that, I've come to grips with what happened to me. So it's like I'm more open with it, transparent with it, and I'm learning how to deal with it, the pain of it. So anyway, I love you guys. You guys take care. Take care.